Before the news of their return to South Korea was widely discussed, the Japanese media first caught one piece of the story that felt much more warm and human. Kim Taehyung and Taehyung Jungkook spent time on an excursion in Japan, not as global stars with dense agendas and tight security, but rather as two individuals who choose to enjoy pauses, walk slowly, and soak up the atmosphere in a barely perceptible way. The report immediately drew attention because it presented a rarely highlighted side, a quiet moment before the next big move. According to reports, Taehyung and Jungkook seem to be living their days in a relaxed rhythm. They visit inconspicuous places, choosing small streets, simple cafes, and corners of the city that are not crowded with tourists. There is no official schedule, no announced goals. Japan, in this phase, is described as a breathing space, a place to pause from the current of expectations that have been chasing them for years. Japanese media emphasized that their atmosphere of togetherness felt natural. No contrived gestures, no attempts to attract attention. They share time in silence, enjoying the little details that often go unnoticed when life moves too fast. In the report, going on an excursion is not meant as a luxury vacation, but rather as a process of calming down, harmonizing thoughts, and ending one phase in a gentle way. For fans, this news brought different emotions. Amid news of planned homecoming and industry dynamics, stories about sightseeing in Japan feel like a reminder that behind big names, there are simple necessities: walking without a goal, laughing without a camera, and being fully present in the moment itself. Many say that it is precisely in moments like this that Taehyung and Jungkook look most true to themselves. Japan itself is often said to have a special place in the emotional journey of both, not only as a location for professional activity, but also as a transitional space. In the last few days before the planned return home, the atmosphere reportedly felt reflective. There's a subtle sense of closure, as if they were tidying their minds before returning to the center of their lives in South Korea. This excursion is read as a final respite, not an escape, but rather a preparation. Industry observers see this moment as a sensible move. Before returning to an environment full of demands and highlights, taking time to calm down is a healthy option. Taehyung and Jungkook are known to be increasingly selective in managing their energy, and the decision to go on an excursion simply reflects that maturity. It's not about stepping away from responsibility, but rather making sure you're strong enough to come back. Their relationship is again in the spotlight in this context. Japanese media describe the two as walking in the same rhythm, but still giving space to each other. No narrative exaggeration, just quiet togetherness. For many fans, a detail like this has great meaning because it shows the trust and comfort that is built naturally, without the need to be confirmed with words. Interestingly, during this moment of the excursion, there are almost no deliberate digital traces. No real-time uploads, no explicit cues to the public. All stories appear later, through observation of the media and third-party reports. This attitude reinforces the impression that time in Japan is really meant to be their own. Not content, not message, just experience. When the news of the planned return to South Korea later surfaced, many associated it with the moment of this excursion, as if Japan became a semicolon, not an endpoint, a pause before a new sentence begins. The excursion is now seen as part of a larger process, closing one chapter quietly so that the next can be opened more steadily. That in South Korea, the story was warmly received, not as gossip, but as a human portrait of two figures who are often looked at too far. Many judge that it is precisely by keeping moments like these simple that Taehyung and Jungkook demonstrate control over their lives, a subtle message about the importance of balance. When they finally get ready to go home, the memories of the excursion in Japan are left as an emotional backdrop. Not crowded memories, but rather calm and settled ones. A reminder that before returning to the spotlight, there is time to walk slowly, look around, and brace yourself. And perhaps that's what makes the story so compelling. In the midst of a world that's constantly moving, Taehyung and Jungkook choose to pause, then step back home with a more prepared heart. The little moments during the outing were then the subject of tender conversation among fans. Not in the form of sensational details, but a picture of the atmosphere. Calm weather, unhurried steps, and the choice to be in places that do not demand attention. Many imagine how Taehyung and Jungkook enjoy the relative silence. Listen to the sounds of different cities, and let the mind run without the burden of schedules. In that collective imagination, Japan is present as a space that embraces their silence. Some cultural observers say that the choice of sightseeing before returning home is a form of unconscious closing ritual. In many traditions, a short trip before returning home gives time for reflection, weighing what has passed and what is to come. Without an official statement, Taehyung and Jungkook seem to be doing the same thing. They don't interrupt the journey with big messages or symbols. They let the experience work slowly, crafting the calm needed for the next phase. In the midst of this story, the public also read the change in the way the two perceive the spotlight. There is no need to prove anything. There is no desire to strictly control the narrative. By choosing an excursion without public documentation, they return the meaning of the trip to its essence. This elicits respect, even from those who are usually critical of the lives of celebrities. There is a tacit recognition that maintaining personal space is a form of courage in itself. As the day of return approached, the atmosphere reported by the Japanese media became increasingly quiet. Activities are completed one by one, things are tidied up, and the daily rhythm is slowed down. There is no rush to leave, but there is no hesitation to return. This balance between letting go and stepping up gives the whole story a mature feel, as if the excursion was not an escape from the house, but a bridge connecting the two phases. For ARMY, this story reinforces the belief that Taehyung and Jungkook are increasingly understanding their own limits. Many wrote that seeing their idol choose tranquility before returning to the center of the spotlight actually gave a sense of security. This is proof that they take care of themselves, not shirk responsibility. In a world that often demands relentless presence, the choice to pause feels comforting. The international media that later cited Japanese reports tended to underline the humane aspect of this trip. They do not highlight a specific location or schedule, but rather the atmosphere. Words like quiet, reflective, and simple come up over and over again. This narrative contrasts with the glamorous image usually attached to the great artist's journey, and precisely because of that, it feels more authentic. As Taehyung and Jungkook finally prepare to leave Japan, the story of the outing lives on as a gentle backdrop. No iconic photos were exhibited, no farewell statements, but it is precisely in its absence that the meaning survives. The Japanese became silent witnesses of the process of calming down, an intermediate space that gave them the opportunity to return home with a clearer mind. Upon later arrival in South Korea, the spotlight will again find them. Questions will arise, speculation will move, and the rhythm of the industry will demand attention. But the story about sightseeing in Japan will remain a reminder that before all that, there's time to go slowly. That behind every big step, there's a small pause that often sets the direction. And perhaps that's where the main attraction of this story. Not where they go, but how they choose to travel. Taehyung and Jungkook show that even amid global fame, there is room for simplicity. Before returning home to South Korea, they chose an excursion